values are just so important.
It just helps you have a deeper understanding of yourself and then others.
Like, it's not about values being better than others. It's just about finding someone whose values align with yours so that there's not just all this friction.
To our surprise, we've changed in this last, year and a half?
You're at war with yourself because your actions are not congruent with your values.
Yeah. Right. Are we ready? We live?
Yep.
Okay, period.
I just don't want my boob to show. Okay.
I think that cutlet's showing a bit.
Really?
Oh wait, no, it's good. I put back. You got it.
You're like, that's your boob.
Oh, I'm actually looking at your nipple. I can't wait for
That'd
the
be
day.
so embarrassing.
What?
We go viral and we're like, it's not even about what we recorded, it's about a nip slip.
I don't know. I'm making it awkward on purpose. No, I'm just kidding. Miss Lori.
Yes, ma'am.
But you know what I'm gonna ask, huh?
Not at all. My enchantment?
Yes.
Okay.
What's enchanting this week?
I went running.
No
with
way.
my dog. Mm-hmm.
Oh, which a diggity dog.
With Rue.
That's so fun. How do you do that?
Go running? Oh, I mean, I didn't do it well.
I mean, how do you find the will to run?
I am very motivated by this value I have called
I love that.
physical maintenance, but
We love it.
I mean, that was my answer.
We love it.
It is true.
That is very enchanting. I wish I was a runner. Have you seen like those? Running is kind of like a trend nowadays, though.
Is it?
Yes, on my feed, I feel like there's a bunch of like, point of view, you join a running group for the first time. And then there's a bunch of people running together.
Wait, that makes sense because I was telling Brandon, so he was playing softball at the softball fields and I went running and it's like in South Scottsdale. So you can just go down this path. I don't even know how far it goes. It goes forever. But anyway, so I was running with Rue and then all of a sudden we had to pull over to the side because this massive running group started going the opposite way and I didn't want Rue to jump on any of them. So we were just pulling over to the side, like waiting for them to go. But it took a while because there were so many people.
Yeah, it's a thing.
And they looked like they were about our age.
Yeah.
Like 20s. Yeah.
Yeah. I know, it's definitely a thing.
I thought about joining them.
Yes, please do. I want to live. Is it? This is embarrassing. Never mind.
What?
Never mind. We're going to cut this part out.
Okay.
I want to live through you.
You want to live vicariously through me?
Is it V or B?
Were you going to say vicarious?
Yes, I say it wrong all the time. I forget which one's right.
It's vicarious.
V?
Vicariously.
Okay, we can cut that out because that's really embarrassing. Or is it relatable? I don't know.
Man.
Anyway. Okay, my enchantment. You guys, I remembered it this time. So today is mine and Kai's 10-month anniversary.
Really?
Yeah,
Today?
Today's the day.
Is it the 12th?
Yeah.
Wait. September 12th. Okay. So then you guys got together November 12th?
Correct.
Okay. 10 months. Hey,
10 months. I know. Well, we joke around and we're like, we're just going to count the milestones like a month. I think 3 months, 6 months.
A year.
And then a year, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, but this morning he sent me a cute voice text and he's like, babe, happy 10 months. I'm like,
that's crazy.
I can't believe it's been 10 months. It felt like that.
For some reason, I don't know why, 10 months sounds longer than a year. If
I
you
know,
said
it's
a year,
weird.
It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't seem as much of a milestone as 10 months. I don't know
why. I feel like 10 months is a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, if we were comparing you and Brandon, you guys were already married.
It's true.
Wait, how long did you guys from meeting to marriage?
August, September, October, November, December, January, February, 7 months.
Yeah, you guys are already been married. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's so, now being in it, I'm like, I can't believe people already get married by the time Kai and I of what milestone we've reached. But I also get it. I understand. I mean, I would love to obviously
be married.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so funny because when I was dating Brandon, I was like, we obviously got married after 7 months for a reason. We wanted to, but now in retrospect, I'm like, why didn't we just date longer? What was the rush?
I see the pros. I was talking about this with my therapist today. I feel like I just struggle with being patient, and I can't wait to get to the next season. I feel like we also brought this topic up in our other episode too, but yeah, there's so much beauty in your current season. I just have to constantly remind myself that. And one practical advice she gave me, which might sound super silly or just like, oh wow, I can't believe you need to do that, is I am, from here on out, since I'm in the dating stage, I'm only going to look at dating content and no more marriage content.
Interesting.
Yeah, isn't that good advice?
Yeah.
Like filtering my social media, just like my intake of like, you know, if I'm being honest, like right after our appointment, I was on Instagram just like looking. And I was like, oh my gosh, this wedding dress is so pretty. And I was literally about to save it. I'm like, oh, no marriage content.
That's so funny.
But it's true.
Yeah, no, it is true. Actually, that's what my therapist did too. This was months ago, but she was like, no more like psychology content. No more like healing content and like diving into the whys of things and like how certain events and traumas affect people. She's like, no more of that. It is really interesting, but it was great advice. Like I definitely needed it at the time.
I definitely needed it too. And at first I was like, what? Like, I don't have a problem. Like I can.
Yeah, you do.
I really do.
No,
I really, really do. And she also was like, Kaylin, I was in the same boat when I was dating my now husband. Like I just wanted to be married, and I would cry and be like, why aren't I married yet? Like I can't wait to start my life. And then she was engaged like 2 months later, and she laughs at that now.
That's so funny.
She's like, literally, it's not about a matter of if, it's just when, and to just enjoy where you're at.
Yeah.
So yeah, no more marriage engagement content. That, and plus I feel like it takes almost the fun out of that season too.
True.
Like it's almost like I'm dipping into that season in the wrong time.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like someone used this analogy in the sermon and it really stuck with me. It's like if you gave a 13-year-old car keys and you're like, here you go. You know, go ahead and drive.
It actually happened, it's like, well, I already went through this feeling in my head.
Or it's just like maybe a fun thing in the wrong time. You're just not ready for it.
That makes sense.
Yeah, or biting a fruit when it's just not ripe, when it's not ready. Wait, did I say that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah,
no, it's
anyway.
very relatable because I bought baby clothes.
Really?
This last week, and then I'm like,
well, that's different.
Well, there's no baby inside. Like, you know what I mean? But they're so cute. They're little Harley Davidson baby clothes. Like
that is so cute. So I feel like that's different.
For my hope chest. So and I don't have a hope chest, but like my hope box.
Yeah, I feel like that's sweet. Because that's like waiting on like a promise, and I feel like those things are important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where it's like if I bought an engagement ring, that would be freaking weird.
Yeah.
Or if I don't know.
Bought your wedding dress?
Yes. You know how some women do that? Do you what's your opinion on that? Like, do you think that's weird, or do you think
I think that's weird.
Me too.
I don't know.
I know, that's interesting. It's the same thing, but why does that seem a little weird?
I don't know.
It just seems premature.
It seems almost controlling. Like,
yes,
you're not going to just like roll with it. Like you already, like with the wedding dress, you buy a style based on like what time of year.
Yeah.
And like what type of vibe for the wedding that like, you know, I know that usually brides come up with what they want for their wedding, but like you should talk about that together and like come to an agreement.
I agree.
And that just means that you didn't. I don't know.
No, yeah.
But
totally.
Anyway.
Yeah. So y'all pray for me. Pray for patience.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Alrighty. Well, y'all, this is a very important episode, and it means, well, this topic means the world to Lori and I. It's like, would you say it's the core of our friendship? The core of our podcast?
We were already good. Maybe our podcast.
Yeah. The core of our podcast, and I almost said climax of our friendship.
Wow.
What, y'all?
Spicy.
I'm slap happy right now. Anyway, it means a lot to me, Lori.
It does. Yeah.
All right, y'all. And we're bringing it back. So over a year ago, we had our values episode. And
I think that was episode number 2.
Yes.
I think.
It was something that we recorded very early on. And you can also check out that episode. It's out on only listening platforms, so Spotify, Apple Podcasts. So yeah, and that time was just so awesome getting to record that. And basically, it was an exercise that I did in therapy, and just it again, understanding more about how you tick, why you make certain decisions. It all stems from your core values, and it just helps you have a deeper understanding of yourself and then others. So yeah, certain things where I'm like, man, I don't know why this bothers me, or oh man, I don't know why this like lights my soul on fire. It makes me feel so seen, and it just like fills up my cup. Well, it all stems from your values.
100%.
So yeah, we thought it'd be fun to revisit our values, and to our surprise, while we were reviewing, we discovered that we've changed in this last, year and a half?
Yeah.
Which has been really, really cool to see. And so,
which is very surprising because I thought like values were there to stay, like core values, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
but it makes sense. As we evolve, our values should evolve too.
Yeah. And not that like now I don't value some of those things. Like I still do. It's just that they're not like the top of
priority.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe what meant so much in one season through maybe maturity or just like life experiences, you're like, actually, that doesn't mean as much to me. It's still important, but maybe a reordering of values too.
Exactly.
So we're not completely different, but we definitely have changed.
100%. Okay, do you want to go first?
No, I want to hear yours. You go first.
Oh.
Grab your notebook.
Okay.
Oh, you ready?
Okay.
I love how you always take notes and then you just put it off to the side where you can barely read it. I'm like, girl, just hold it.
I know. You're right.
I always have my phone ready here, y'all.
Oh, man. Okay, so should I just list all 5 of them?
You want to go back and forth like we did in the OG?
Yeah. Let's do that. Okay, so first one at the top of the list for me is relationships. So my romantic relationship, my friendships, just other people.
Did this value change, like order? Okay, so it's still number 1. I love that. Well, I guess let's dive into that value a bit more. So you mean like your relationships mean a lot to you?
Yeah, my relationships mean a lot to me. Like they even take priority over other values. So like basically like this isn't another one that I'll read off, but like my relationships are a top value, but also like what's another value? Something else I value. I don't know, like adventure or like
yes, I was just about to bring that up.
Yeah, I'll just say that. Relationships and adventure. Like they're both values, but my relationships are gonna always take priority over like adventure or something else that I care deeply about.
Yeah. So like let's say scenario. You had maybe a trip to the Grand Canyon planned, but then you found out that a friend's birthday party is going to happen that same weekend. You are going to always pick your friends.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
And also, can we prefaced this in the previous episode?
Yeah,
we did this, but it's not to say that like some values are better than others, although in some cases they are, but like it's not about being better or best. It's just about being different.
Yeah.
So just because like someone else's core values might look different, it doesn't mean that their set of values are better than mine or yours or anyone else's.
Yeah. I love the way you put that because it's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it sucks when, we'll get into this too, when you have competing values with somebody and it's like maybe your decision is because of your value, but then that it comes across negative because it's directly contradicting another person's value. That's where you have that conflict.
Exactly. So I guess like to give an example, I have seen scenarios where people will dip out on a wedding or just not attend even a wedding, which is kind of a big deal. For someone that they care about because they, like you said, had a vacation planned. Like that's an actual like
that it's really a real life thing.
Yeah, and like I don't know, like I don't want to say like are your priorities screwed up or whatever. Like to them that really is just like so important and near and dear to their heart for some reason.
Yeah.
Somewhere in life, like adventure and vacation or whatever. Maybe that was like a dream destination or just somewhere that they really, really wanted to go to. Like, and it weighs more heavily to them than a wedding.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's okay.
Yeah. No, that's such a good example. I feel like I've heard scenarios like that before where it's like, what? The obvious choice is this. Yeah. And then other people are like, well, no, I can understand why they would choose that. And it could just mean that people are just different. Exactly. It's not bad or good. It's just different. Alrighty. My number one value is God's will. And I put little definitions next to it, or how I define it is the desires of the Holy Spirit and keeping in step with God. And I put my intimacy with God. So how I just strengthen that relationship with him. Mm-hmm. So this manifests in my like spending quality time with him in my secret place. I put 2-hour recap brunch. What does that mean? Oh my gosh. Wait, I haven't done that in so long. Okay, so I would do these things where I would kind of schedule. This is going to sound so silly. I schedule like time with God. Like that's very normal in my routine, but I schedule almost like dates with God. Wow. And I will just take myself out on a date. I used to do this all the time. And I would, like one time I took myself out to the Cheesecake Factory and I brought my Bible and it was just me and the Lord having dinner.
That's so sweet.
I know it sounds kind of silly saying it out loud, but that fills my cup. Man, I haven't done that in so long. And I will just either recap my season or, you know, plan my hopes or just pray over different things or reflect. Like one time I remember, I think it was me going from 2022 to 2023. And 2023 was the year I moved to Dallas. Mm-hmm. And I knew at the end of 2021, or 2022, that's what I was going to do. So I was just like praying over that and being like, wow, God, I can't believe we're going to do this together. Like we're going to move to Texas. Like it's going to be so fun. And I would do those things all the time. Man, it's been a minute.
Yeah, that's a really good exercise.
Yeah, I definitely need to get back to my core value of that. And it's just been a really long time since I've done that. And then I put spending time with other believers and my church friends or people that I, you know, in my community and stuff.
So your core value is God's will, and then like ways that you exercise that is like, I'm like daddy-daughter dates with God or whatever you call it.
Daddy God, yeah.
Or like hanging out with other believers, going to church. Okay.
Yeah, fellowship, you know, reading in my word. Like, how do I sustain that value? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think in this season, I still have that intimacy with him, but I don't know, it just looks kind of different where I feel like, I don't know, in one season, I just feel like I had so much more time and intentionality maybe, where now getting to my other values, maybe they've shifted a bit. Not to say like, oh, I put other things in front, you know, on top of whatever. But I feel like sometimes, I don't know, I think it's just time management too, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
But in your heart, that's your top priority.
Oh still. Yeah. At least I try. Mm-hmm. But then again, I'm like getting convicted in the moment. I'm like, dang, it's been a minute since I've been on a date like with God. And it's been like, I do want to still have that. So it's like, that's like a cool reminder too.
Well, cool.
Yeah. Alrighty, Lori, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is truth. So there are a lot of ways to say this: truth, transparency, facts, I guess. Like, I just really value knowing the truth of things and like not misconstruing what actually happened or truth or like perverting it at all. Like I don't like, even honestly, like, and maybe this is not great for like content creation because they always say like spice it up a little bit, like, you know, exaggerate your stories, make them juicier. But it's just, that's hard for me to do because I just value truth so much. Like I only want like 100% of truth as possible. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like asterisks there because truth might be in some ways subjective. Like we like so much of the things that happen in life are just like people's takes on things or like how someone experienced something. Yeah. But like, for example, if something happens, I'm like relating the story to whoever, I really do not juice it up. Like, and whenever I tell it, I try not to tell it in tone. I just want to like say what happened, and then from there, let's talk about my take on it, or like my opinion or whatever. So there's that. I like transparency. I want to know like who people actually are, and not just like the face they want to put up.
Yeah.
And same thing with me. Like, I want everyone who experiences me to experience the true me, which is so hard because there's just so many different facets of all of us.
Yeah.
But I want to be seen and loved and known for exactly who I am, and not just who I want to put out there. And like with the podcast, like, oh my gosh, I feel like it's embarrassing sometimes, like thinking back to like our first episode and like the things I've put out there.
Oh my gosh, I haven't listened to our first episode in so long. I think I listened to it once.
Yeah,
after.
No one go back and listen to our first episode because I was going through it. But no, I'm just kidding. But like, I mean, that's what I'm saying is like, if I'm talking about, I don't know how to say this, like, if I'm going through something, like I'm going to relate it in a way that's true.
Yeah.
And not sugarcoat things. So
yeah,
I don't know. I think that why this is such a integral core value to me is because like there have been times in my life where things I've done or said or whatever were misconstrued, and I have a really hard time feeling misunderstood.
Yeah.
I hate feeling misunderstood.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not even just with me. Like, yes, obviously, like I want to be transparent and to be seen for as I am, for the true picture, nothing like misconstrued, but I also value that with other people. So like whenever someone is telling a story about someone else and I know that that's not completely true, I'm going to say something. Like, I don't want someone else to be seen in a way that's not true.
Yeah. Dude,
does that make sense?
Yes, you're such an advocate for yourself and others. Like, I just feel like, are you like an altruist? What is that called?
Yeah, I'm an altruist.
Yeah. I feel like that just bleeds into so many parts of your life. I'm like, you should go into law.
I wanted to go into law.
And even just thinking about like what you've done with your life and what you plan on doing, like even with foster care, it's like, man, what a great trait and value to have when advocating for somebody that can't advocate for themselves. I just think that's so beautiful.
Thanks.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I had one more thing to add. I completely forgot. It left my brain.
That's okay.
I'm sorry, girl. I have like after work brain.
I know I have fading brain because I'm hungry.
I know, literally. Alrighty, moving right along. Value number 2. I should just lump these in 2 values.
Okay,
I might do that. These were separately, but I'm just going to lump them. That way I can include more values. Basically the same thing, relationships. So my family and my friends. I did put that my family comes before my friends. But basically I just put how I define my family as my blood and immediate family and the core people in my life that have become family. Like, Lori, you're obviously my family. People in my close-knit circle, they literally feel like family to me.
Yeah.
So that's like a huge thing. And then also my friendships, people I choose to do life with. And yeah, I think for both of them, how I guess implement that value into my life is just spending more intentional time, or like the scenario you gave of just like, yeah, there might be this cool, fun thing, but also, you know, I have this family thing and family always comes first and my friends always come first. Like, I will always pick a hangout versus like an activity or something, or, you know,
like a hobby.
Yeah. If it involves people, I like my people.
Yeah. Yeah. So you'll skip like going to the gym or like your facial or something.
Always.
Yeah.
Just to spend time with my people. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. No, it's been really sweet. I feel like I've in this season, like my sister and my brother-in-law Riley and my niece Mimi, we all live in one home together with my parents. And although sometimes we're literally on top of each other and that could be just really hard, it's also so cool. Like I get to watch my niece grow up. I get to spend more time with them, have casual chats in the kitchen, or randomly like when we're both waking up so early in the morning, like we just like see each other and hang out. It's been so sweet.
Yeah, you're the perfect specimen to live all together in one big house.
No, literally.
With your family.
It's just so fun. It's been cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I think that that's your second value.
Yeah.
But like that was my first value. So
yeah, top three, baby. Top
shows
three.
Why we
jive.
we understand each other.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, number 3, this one is interesting because it has kind of changed a little bit. So I still put security on there as my third value, but I think last year whenever we filmed or recorded that episode, this meant something a little bit different to me. So security meaning, well, I mean, it kind of sounds like what it is. Like I just feeling secure in my situation. So like in my relationships, financially, just in any situation I'm in, I want to feel like it's solid. It's on solid ground. But where it's changed is that back then, like a year ago, I was still working, and not that I'm not working. I'm doing art, but it's different. Like back then I was doing accounting.
Corporate.
Yeah, corporate, like just a very secure field. And it was because I always wanted to like feel like I was providing and contributing, and now not so much. Like now I feel a little bit of like, okay, like I can just trust Brandon that he's got it, and we have great savings and this and that, and I'm also contributing by doing art and other things. So yeah, it's a little bit different. Like I still want to feel secure, because if things started to feel like insecure financially or whatever, then obviously that wouldn't fly with me, and I would, just switch up the situation. But yeah, that's where it's changed, where now it's like a little bit of less of a controlling dynamic.
No, I see. Or have you found your security in other things? Like not just financially?
What do you mean?
Like, I don't know. Like, do you feel more secure with where you're at in life? Or maybe with who you are as a person?
Yeah.
Like, is that the true shift, and not just so like, oh, you know what I'm trying to say?
No, I do. And yes, I would say so for sure. Like, I think what it is that I just feel like I can trust. Like, I can trust God. Like, I can trust, like, everything's going to be fine. I really have seen enough situations in my life where I was like, I'm never going to make it out of this. This is the end of the world. Like, if I don't take control right now, like, it's all going to go down the toilet. And I've seen like, everything always works out. Everything's always fine. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. Like, why feel just so insecure all the time?
Yeah.
So
are you this too shall pass kind of girl?
Hey, yes.
Have you crossed that bridge?
I think Brandon has rubbed off on me. Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, okay, spoiler alert. We're going to have the men on again.
Can't wait.
And we're going to share our values. And that will be a fun thing to touch on, is just that obviously they don't know Brandon's values yet, but as we get into that'd be like really a fun thing to unpack too.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that's so cool. I feel like that's the beauty of marriage too. Like in
it's
one
so
area,
sanctifying.
Yes, in one area where I wouldn't say like struggling, but just like, again, the compliment is just like, yeah, that's Brandon's strength. And although, we shouldn't be flippant about things, and Brandon's not flippant, but he's just so like
steady,
very steady. Girl, I feel like you're getting steady. I love it.
Oh my gosh.
That's so fun.
Yeah, it's true. That's so interesting how you connected those dots, because I didn't even piece that together.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Yeah, but like for sure last year I was just so much more like, oh my gosh, we got to make sure X, Y, and Z, and like, just there was a lot, even though security was a value, there was a lot of insecurity within me. Now I'm like, no, everything's everything's fine.
Yeah.
And like, even if the situation changes, like, you can then take control and just do whatever you need to get it back to where you want it. So
yeah, I feel like you have more security in the unknown. You know what I mean?
Like trust.
Yes.
Like trust falling.
Yeah, like yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So fun. I love that. Okay. This is where it gets tricky, y'all. Because I still feel like this is a value, but I almost want to put another value above it. But I don't know if it's for the right reasons.
Okay.
I'm kind of struggling. Okay, I'll also lump two values together. So originally I had self-acceptance next.
Okay.
So how I define this is to always have my back, stand by my side, no matter what, to always remember that I'm that girl.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. I love that. But I don't think that that's my next value. Like I wouldn't put that at number 3 anymore. What's number 3? I'll lump these two. They're essentially the same-ish. But I have commitment and then I have dependability.
Okay.
So commitment, I defined it as staying true to what I agree to, giving my word, being integral. And then dependability is just being there, someone who's there physically and emotionally for me, someone who's reliable. So I feel like in this season where I struggle with that is, I think personally, sometimes I feel like I've been laxed on my commitments. Okay. Whereas I feel like I used to be a very disciplined person. Dang, did I write that down as one of my values? I should have. Listen.
You're like, okay, new value. New core value.
Okay, no. Well, okay. I've had other people in my life say like, Kaylin, you're so disciplined. Like you have a goal, you accomplish it, or, you said you're going to wake up at 5 a.m. You wake up at 5 a.m. But I feel like in this season lately, I've just been a little laxed. But also I feel like God is giving me the okay to, because bringing it back to my transition out of just, dancing, it's been such a big part of my life, but there's so much discipline there, just like doing the same thing, having the same rhythm, the same cadence, same routine. And then now that I have no routine, I'm like, well,
you can be a little more flexible.
Yeah, maybe I don't have to do that. I'm in like my I don't have to era.
Yeah.
Which maybe it's not a bad thing.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, maybe it's not a bad thing. And also, when it comes to, it's such an integral part in me though, because in my head, I'm like, I honor my commitments to myself and I'm dependable on myself because I can trust myself. And I feel like the more commitments I am laxed on or I don't follow through on means that I'm not dependable to myself.
Got it.
So that means I can't trust myself. I don't know if that's the narrative that I should be, that is actually happening, or if that's just what I'm telling myself. Okay. Do you know what I mean?
No, I do know what you mean.
So there's that piece. And so I guess I'm currently struggling with that. Like, is it true if I'm not following through on my own commitments, that means I'm not a trustworthy person? I think that's where my value is kind of getting scratched.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's true, or if I'm just, again, in my, hey, it's okay to give yourself grace in this area. And it doesn't mean that you're not trustworthy. It just means like things look different right now. Like, I don't know if it's that bucket or the other bucket, or maybe it's a mix of both.
Gotcha.
And then I don't know, like in this season, dude, if somebody does not honor their word, it really bothers me.
Okay.
Like more so than usual. I don't know. Again, maybe, but now that
so is that because of you?
Yes.
Because you're projecting?
Yes, because I'm projecting. So yeah, I guess I'm mad at myself.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, it totally does make sense, because and it totally makes sense that that's your response, because whenever you go against your values, that's when you have that cognitive dissonance.
Yeah.
That's whenever you feel like that not self-loathing, but like you're at war with yourself because your actions are not congruent with your values.
Yeah. And I'm
so
like,
that does
dang.
make sense.
Yeah, I'm like, dang, I can't even keep a promise to myself. And then let's say, like, for example, if I make plans with a friend or a family member and they don't pull through, dude, I get so upset. I'm like, what the heck? Like, they let me down.
Yeah.
And there's this one exercise that when I was in Texas, I was volunteering at like a young adults group. And a part of our training was this idea of honoring your commitments and how important that was. And they did this exercise where, like, let's say you and we're recording this podcast and like this was our commitment to each other. Like, hey, Thursday night, you and I were recording the podcast. Let's say something came up or I just couldn't meet anymore. They say how you practice that is I would go to you and be like, hey, Lori, I'm so sorry. Like, I won't be able to honor our commitment tonight. Can I have my time back? Like, can I have my borrowed time back? And at a later date, like, I will honor that commitment. And at first I read that or heard that. I was like, that's dumb.
Okay.
But that is it's so honoring because time is the most precious thing that you can give somebody. And time is so fleeting. And again, if you honor your commitments, you are a trustworthy person. At least that's how I view it. But I think not being so flaky.
Yeah.
I think it's really important to just, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So this is what, you can tell me if this is not how it is, but
yeah.
I look at it more like it's not that you're not honoring your commitments or being disciplined. I think that you're just becoming less rigid. Like, if you're bringing it back to the recording our podcast.
Yeah.
Like, our commitment together is that we're doing this podcast. We're making an episode a week. But if we were so rigid, we're doing it on Thursday nights at 7, and it has to be this amount of time and blah, 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 and like just X, Y, and Z, all these things that have to be met. Like, that's extremely rigid. Like, what's the matter with saying sometimes like, hey, let's do it Wednesday, let's do it Saturday, let's do it morning, do it evening. Like, it's just like, it's not that you're not, like, you're still, it's a giving room that you can still honor your commitments and be disciplined in that way, but be more like flexible and gracious.
Yeah. I think I'm just learning to have more grace in this season for myself and others. But because this was such a high value for me and I was like, I felt like I was on it. Like, for instance, just practically like working out 5 a.m. every single day, 5 days a week, no question. And like, I would do that like I was a robot. And now I'm just like, I don't got to do that anymore. Right. And I can work out at 4 p.m. or I can work out every other day. It doesn't have to be every day. So I don't know.
Or maybe working out just isn't a value anymore.
Which is,
like, like, it's not about not being committed. It's just that your commitments are to something else.
Are different, yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Priorities are different in the season.
Yeah, I feel like that's still a strong priority. It's just that your commitments look different. Like, you're still extremely disciplined and committed, but now it's to Kai or to
family.
Like,
this
to
podcast,
family. Yes, to the podcast, to church. Because I know that you're doing like some mentoring in a group. Like, I still feel like you honor all your commitments. Your commitments are just different.
Yeah. Man, this has been so healing, Lori. How do I pay you for this therapy session? I didn't even know that like that was happening internally. But yeah.
Dang, that's so cool.
That is cool. But yeah, that's how that changed.
I think it's so good to go over your values often because you just don't even realize how much you've changed.
Yeah. Or I guess maybe even though
for the better.
Yes. I think maybe new value is having more grace. Like being more gracious to myself and others. Yeah. Like maybe that's what I'm learning in the season and I need to have more of that value. I think also with this exercise, if there's a value that is important to you or you want to have like future, You can still put it on your values list. Be like, hey, like I'm not there yet, but this is something I want to grow in. Yeah.
Very true. No, that's really cool.
So yeah, value birthed. New value.
I think of like Inside Out 2, when the islands come up.
Oh my gosh.
Integrity Island.
Yes.
Friendship Island. Yeah.
Yeah, no, literally.
So cool. I just watched that happen to you. Me too. Me too. I love it so much.
So good.
We should watch that after this. Not tonight, but like
girl.
No.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm going home.
Yeah, I'm going home and I'm eating.
Yeah. No, like, same. My
we need
stomach's
pod
over
snacks.
here growling.
Literally.
That'd be fun. Some snacks.
Literally.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so number 4 for me is completely different. It's creativity.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
I mean, it doesn't make sense because now I'm doing art. Now I'm letting myself live in that side of my life and using my artistic brain now on a day-to-day basis.
I love that. Dude, I absolutely love that. Oh wait, I had that on mine too.
Yeah, you do.
Value shit. I love it.
Alignment.
That's so fun. I know. We love it. I'm like, no wonder we started this pod.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but dude, like that's why it's manifesting. Like, because we're content creation. Because I quit my structured job. Now I'm creating every day.
Yeah.
Like, and I was doing it like as a side hustle, but like now I'm trying to do it more consistently for like my actual income. Like it's like my sole income.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I feel like it's manifested in so many areas of your life. Like you're creating a home.
True.
For, your future family, getting prepared for that. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's just so awesome. Oh my gosh. There's like another thing too. Like as you prepare not only for fostering, but for motherhood, you're also getting ready to create a human.
Wow. The ultimate creation.
Yes. No, for real. Yeah.
So
like
true.
Taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's such a beautiful
crazy
thing.
Yeah. I'm definitely like in that
creating mode.
Yeah, in that mode.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. I don't even know what number we're on.
So now you're a number 4.
Dude, am I going to copy you?
Is it creativity?
I think I am going to copy you. Yeah,
I think I copied you because that was always on your list in top 10, right?
That's all right. That's why we align. Yeah, I put an outlet for me to express myself. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like, especially in this season now more than ever, learning to express myself in a different medium. It used to be dance, and then now I get to obviously do this with you, explore, in the YouTube space, starting to do that, getting more comfortable with that.
Right.
Or even just the idea of, like, I don't know, when we were younger, we would be in all these different classes. I want to bring that back. Like, I want to sign myself up for a class or do something that's fun for just me.
Like a pottery class.
Yeah, or like something like that.
Cooking. You already cook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, something like that.
Just
I don't even know.
Different.
Yeah. Or even like I took a bar class and that was just so fun. That's not really creative, but to me it's like, okay, what are different forms of movement? Yeah. Yeah. An outward expression. Yeah. So it's been just so fun in this season too.
That's so cool.
Especially to create alongside my bestie.
Yes.
The best time.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. No, it's so interesting how that's changed for me because it didn't even make it on the top 10 last year.
Which is so surprising.
Yeah.
Like knowing you and knowing how creative you are, I'm just like, why didn't that make it last year?
Well, because we talked about this a few episodes back, and I was trying to express how, like, I felt like that analytical side of me, like, killed the creative side.
Yeah.
Like, for me, it was, like, literally one or the other. Like, you can excel at one or you can excel at the other. Like, and that's, like, the problem with being split down the middle is you really have to choose or you lose both.
Yeah.
So.
That is true.
Or you'll lose the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But girl, you have not lost it. You still got it.
Yeah, I'm trying to hone it. I'm trying to, like, to refine it.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
Oh, cool.
Final one.
Okay, so physical maintenance.
Woo!
So I defined this as like working out, just anything maintenance. So like health, anything health and like holistic, trying to eat healthy, making sure I'm taking my vitamins, like not just like an outward expression of health and physical maintenance, but also like inward. So, I mean, in this season of life, I haven't been working out as much, but still, like, it is a value to where, like, if I start to feel myself feeling groggy and like not liking the way I fit in my clothes or whatever it might be, I'm not able to wake up on time. Like, I'm like, okay, something has to give, like something has to change. And so I always do revert back to that.
Yeah.
Because it is just such it's a huge value to me. I've always been that way.
Yeah.
I don't know what it stems from, but like, I don't know, like even in like the way I look, like if I'm like, now that I'm working from home, I'm like, if I just like wear my pajamas all day or like sweats all day and I like haven't done my hair, put on makeup in a few days, like it gets to me.
I mean, yeah. I mean, not to be annoying, but I completely agree.
Yeah. I don't know.
No, I share that value. I'm going to piggyback on you again.
Really?
Yeah. I'm looking at my other values and they're just not hitting like they used to.
Okay.
And then I did lump some together. But yeah, although if I'm being very honest, I'm like giving myself the ick, but you already know where this is going. I put fitness and then I put attraction.
Yeah.
I think that's how I labeled it. Attraction. And I put a pull towards a person, can be physically or personality. I don't think that's a value of mine anymore. I don't even really understand that value anymore. Like as I'm reading it, I'm like, why did I put that? I actually am curious to go back and see how I framed it and why that made it into my values. But I feel like in the season I am in, that value is almost dangerous.
Okay.
In terms of, okay, sorry, I'm trying to like gather my thoughts, but like because I'm changing so much in this season, like for instance, I'm changing physically, like because I'm no longer keeping up that regimen of being an athlete, being a dancer, things naturally start to change. And, you know, I'm a woman in her late 20s now, like things should change,
right?
You know, and I can say that in my brain logically, but a part of me is like, dang, if I am not keeping up my fitness value, then I am not looking the same. Thus, I am
like less valuable
because I'm less attractive.
Got it.
That's a horrible thing. Like even it coming out of my mouth, I'm like, that's obviously not true. And my worth is not solely based on what I look like.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So, but then by me writing down that value last year, it's almost as if I'm saying like, you're
less valuable.
Yes. And that's so sad. So I think I'm trying to unlearn that way of thinking, even though I didn't realize that how damaging that messaging to myself is. And it's like, I'm so much more valuable than just like who I am physically. And so I think my fitness value, although it's still a value, it's for health, it's for wellness. And I would even change the label of my value, not only to fitness, but to just like health.
Yeah.
And that looks like healthy emotionally, healthy spiritually, and then healthy physically. Like that's how I would categorize that. Like I am not my best self unless I have those 3 buckets filled. Yeah. Like a perfect week would be like spending time with the Lord, a therapy session, and then going to the gym. Like that's a perfect week. Actually, that's actually the week I had this week, and it's been a great week.
See, you're still living congruently.
Yeah. So it's nice. No, but I also, the goal isn't to just look a certain way. So that's how my values shift. It's like, no, it's not about looking good. It's about feeling good, like being, like working on who I am. Like, am I progressing as a human being? And also just taking care of myself because I want to and not for someone or for something.
Yeah. This is a really tricky topic.
Yeah.
Especially because it's literally both of ours. Like, we literally put the same thing. I labeled it physical maintenance, but again, like, yes, I really just mean maintenance. But I'm trying to, like, I'm not just talking about, like, relationship maintenance or career maintenance. I'm talking about, like, my being maintenance.
Yeah. Wait, I like that.
And
being.
My being. But it's tough because, like, what if like there are women out there that are even in their 40s or like older than us, like older than just like their late 20s, who do make sure to take care of themselves, even just physically, like not, I don't want to throw a number out there, but like not becoming anywhere close to plus size, you know what I mean? Like for them. And is that bad? Like, is that a bad thing? I don't think so. But again, it's just different. It's just a value. Like,
yeah. I feel
as long as like it's not just like a struggle. Like, as long as it's not like you're starving yourself, you're not replenishing yourself emotionally. Like, if it's out of a place of like self-hatred, like you just hate yourself. Then I think that that's where it's an issue. But like, if you do have the value where you're like, I want to look a certain way, I think it's okay, as long as like, again, you're filling your emotional cups and like your other physical maintenance cups as well, and not like letting those deplete just so that you can also fill the cup of like physically looking well. Yeah.
No, I agree. It's like, it's okay to want to look a certain way as long as it's not a detriment to everything else.
Yes.
It's if you're not taking care of yourself and meeting your like hierarchy of needs, your basic needs is fuel, like fueling your body. And also like, although I want to tread lightly too. Me personally, I don't think it's ever a good thing to be at an unhealthy weight at either spectrum.
100%.
And I think any doctor would advise that. You know what I mean? So I think that.
Yeah, that's scientific. Like, that's just facts.
Yeah, like there's a certain weight that if you keep going in that lifestyle, it could kill you.
And that's not like a pound. That's not like a number.
No.
Like, for some people I'll just throw out there, 150 pounds is like, you're athletic, like because you're pure muscle and like you do gymnastics or like, you know, whatever it is that like really builds that mass, but you're healthy. Yeah. And then for some, like, that's overweight. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
it's whatever you're healthy.
Yes.
What your healthy is. Mm-hmm. So I think that's super important. And I don't know, I think for me, even saying like, oh, I want to look like this, I think for me in this season, that's damaging too, because for myself personally, I've spent majority of my adult life trying to look a certain way, and not that I was trying, but trying to sustain this like image. And it's almost like, oh, I'm so used to this looking a certain way and it's so easy and whatever, it's so natural. Mm-hmm. But in reality, it's like, no, I literally had a job where it was my job to work out.
It was your job to move.
It was my job to move my body. Yeah. And the weight just never came on. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, this is my norm. And now that it's not my norm, not that I know I don't look bad or to, label it simply, but I just look different in this season. So I think for me, instead of saying like, oh, I need to look like this, for me, it's more about acceptance of like, no, my body can move. My body is able to do so much. And I'm thankful for all what my body can do. Like, yeah, I don't look the same as when I dance because I'm not dancing. Yeah. And sometimes obviously I have good body days and sometimes I have bad body days mentally. Easier said than done. Yeah. But I think just having safe people in my life to remind me of, hey, your value doesn't come from you keeping up with your fitness. Your value is so much more. And also fitness is important to me and so many other holistic health buckets, like emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Yeah. So yeah, just learning again to have more grace with myself.
Exactly. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I think you've been the most dynamic. I think we've both been dynamic. Like, there are changes on both of our lists, but you've been so dynamic. Like,
what? I disagree. I feel like, you mean like changing?
Yeah, like changing.
I feel like we've both changed a lot.
We have, but
I feel like you more so.
I was so what?
I feel like you more than I. But then maybe.
But the only one that's changed is creativity, and then security a little bit. But I mean.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
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 No, we both changed a lot in a year.
I think change is good.
I do. Yeah.
It's so exciting.
Sure.
I can't wait until next year.
And
to see what new values are. It's going to be
crossed
crazy.
Off the list.
I know.
Physical maintenance completely.
No, literally. It's like, who got time for that? We got so much other things to do.
Truth. Crossed up the list.
Lie to me.
Relationships.
Tell me lies. Just kidding.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. That's hilarious.
Well, nice. Also, like, before wrapping it up, I also wanted to point out, like, in other episodes, specifically the Hey Boy Hey episode, where we talked about, I love that episode. If you haven't watched it, like,
please watch and comment.
Yes.
Subscribe. Share. All the things.
Contribute to the conversation, because, like, I really do mean this. I'm not even just saying this for the interaction or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Like, I really like hearing people's perspective on things.
Yeah, same.
But on that episode with Kai and Brandon, we talked about relationships and how some relationships are easier than others. And I think that there was some
discourse.
Yeah, like there were some viewers that were like, that's not true. Like, if you're waiting for the perfect relationship, you're going to be waiting forever.
Yeah. Which
I agree with, but that's not what we were saying. Like, we were just trying to say, like, that values are just so important. Like, and again, it's not about values being better than others. It's just about finding someone whose values align with yours, so that there's not just all this friction.
Yeah.
So that it's an easier relationship.
Yeah. If all your values are opposite, there's going to be a lot of conflict.
Yeah.
And there's never, ever going to be a human that has the same exact values as you in the same exact order,
which I'm so excited for with the boys coming on.
Yes. Yeah. And like, let's say, for instance, we share the same value as fitness, right? Or whatever we labeled it as, health. But let's say mine was higher on the list. That means like let's say mine was number 1 and I'm like, no, I can't record today. I'm working out. Is that so bad? No. However, it's a competing value, even though we share the same value. It's just a different order. So things like that. It's like, you don't have to find, a perfect relationship is finding somebody exactly who's just like you and has the exact same values. It's finding somebody who is similar and complementary, because some values can be complementary too, not just a negative and a
100%
negative pounding on whatever, competing.
Yes.
But yeah.
So I guess like one example is like, for me, my value of truth, how I said, like, I don't even like to spice up stories. Like, I want to know things how they were. Like, and like how you said, like, that would be a really, maybe law enforcement or, something in that area would have been good for me. Like, because that value is very rigid for me. Yeah. I want to know things exactly as they are. But for someone else, maybe, I can't think of a word for how, like, maybe they are more like boisterous and like larger than life, and like they love to storytell and like tall tale. Like, it's not that that's a bad thing, because that'd be a really good person for entertainment. And like, there's a place for both people in this world. But would I enjoy being in a relationship with them or even a friendship with them? Like, I can tell you, I have people in my life that I love that are more that way, and they drive me nuts a little bit. Like, I love them and they hold a place in my life. Yeah. But I can't, not every day, basically. You know what I mean?
She just can't.
I just can't. Not every day. Yeah. No,
I'm done.
So I don't know. I hope that made sense.
Yeah. No, that makes complete sense. No, that's such a good example too.
Okay. Well,
but yeah.
Anyway.
On that note.
Yes.
Let us know your values. I want to know what everyone's values are. So please list them in the comments. Rank them top 5 or maybe just top 3. But yeah, we want to keep the combo going.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for listening.
Awesome. Bye.
Bye.